see, that tells you the person have their hand up. So this is clearly saying respect. Because this is you. And then when you can press, and the name will show up here. You see a raise hand, and then you just, and then they can speak. 1, 2, 3. If you don't do, then you say mic on, and then it turns red. When you see it turns red, 1, 2, 3, and that means they're speaking. When they're done, they need to shut it off. So ask them when they're done, shut it off. If they don't shut it off, you can shut it off. So you control everybody mics here. Put your mic, press your green button. Okay, so she's requesting. Mic on, speak.
Hello.
Okay, and then press it when you're done, speak.
Hello.
Okay, so it goes up. Okay, so you control everybody.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of Parliament. Please stand for the entrance of President Sabia Nanton and Secretary General Ishmael Cummings. We will now like to welcome the 2024-2025 members of St. Martin Youth Parliament. You may now be seated.
Good afternoon, members of the Youth Parliament, members of Parliament, support staff, visitors in the public tribune, radio listeners, TV viewers, and members of the media. Welcome to this inauguration meeting for the 2025-2026 Youth Parliamentary Year. A special welcome is extended to the President of Parliament, Mrs. Sarah Westcott Williams, members of Parliament, MPs, MP Otley, MP Lacrosse, MP Lewis, and MP DeWeaver, representatives of the Youth Territorial Council and other invited guests, alumni, parents, family, and friends in the Tribune, and other online viewers. We have established a quorum of 12 members. Please stand for a moment of silence. You may be seated. I have received notification of absence from YMPs Jalissa Simon, Jemiah James, Vivica Titus, Lilu Muyal, Ariane Martez, and Deshaila James. Are there any other notifications? A notice of absence is also for Jaden Moore. Thank you for the notification. Youth members of Parliament, please stand for the Youth Parliament Pledge. After three, 1, 2, 3. As a youth parliamentarian, I pledge to be a prominent member of society by empowering and representing the youth of St. Martin. I pledge to advocate peace, understanding, and to create an environment of great leadership. I pledge to bring about social change by service to the community and collaborating with our counterparts locally, regionally, and internationally. I pledge to be kind, fearless, committed, integrous, and ambitious. I am a youth parliamentarian. You may be seated. I hereby invite the President of the Parliament of St. Martin, Honorable Mrs. Sarah Westcott Williams, to address the incoming youth members of Parliament and administer the oath of office.
President of the Youth Parliament of St. Martin, Secretary General of the Youth Parliament, members of the Youth Parliament, members of Parliament of St. Martin, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Sometimes if I don't look sharp, especially when I step out into the public, that I cannot let that show, even if that's the way that I feel. However, this afternoon, I can proudly stand with my shoulders high and say to you, congratulations. I didn't think that I would have to do this either, and that would be to say congratulations in a very special way to the young men amongst the youth parliamentarians, because the young ladies are in a majority in the youth parliament. And so to the young men in the youth parliament, I say congratulations and thank you for joining this august body. It's a pleasure truly to stand here this afternoon and be part of the inauguration of yet another youth parliament of St. Martin. And I am indeed proud and encouraged by the continuation of the Youth Parliament of St. Martin. Year after year, sometimes some downs and sometimes some ups, but always continuing and understanding the importance that Parliament is not just a sporadic occurrence, but it is the biggest and most fundamental part of our democracy, one in which special persons get the opportunity to represent all of us. When I listen to your pledge, I am encouraged by the things that you stand for and that you will continue to uphold as you execute your duties as Youth Parliament of St. Martin. I heard a part about working locally with like-minded organizations and others, regionally and internationally. And I can say to you and your coaches that I have on my desk an invitation for the Youth Parliament of St. Martin to become part of the International Youth Parliament. That invitation has been extended by the President of the International Youth Parliament. And because I know a lot of things were happening, I held on to it until this day. But following your inauguration, and not too long thereafter, we shall meet on this invitation. Because while I had it there holding in order to share with you, I have also been informed by the President of the International Youth Parliament that he would like to organize a leadership summit here on St. Martin, and the Youth Parliament of St. Martin being part of that. That is what democracy is all about. That is what safeguarding our democracy is all about. How did I get contact with the International Youth Parliament? Through being part of conferences on population and development, a UN declaration of 1994, taking the focus and putting it on humanity, on people. And 30 years later, that would have been in 2024, I had the opportunity to take part in 2 conferences looking at the results of that declaration of 1994 by the United Nations. Those contacts and networking are what it's all about. Ensure not only that we operate as members of Parliament here and now, but to ensure that a democratic institution like Parliament can continue to live, representing the people of St. Martin. And that is why you have a smile on my face, and I can proudly stand with my shoulders high. Congratulations once again, Youth Parliament of St. Martin. Look forward now to take you from this stage to a stage of representing St. Martin to the outer world as young people. I am proud of you, and I know you're going to make us proud. Congratulations once again.
I will now ask everyone to stand, the youth parliamentarians, as we prepare for our inauguration.
The oath of office. I swear that I have not given or promised anything to anyone, whosoever directly or indirectly, under any name or pretext whatsoever, in connection with my membership of a youth member of parliament, nor shall I do so. I swear that I shall not accept any pledge or gift of any description, form, from any person whatsoever, directly or indirectly, in order to take or refrain from any action of any description in this position. I swear my loyalty to the King and the Charter of the Kingdom, to the people of St. Martin, that I shall always help to uphold the Constitution of St. Martin, and shall support the welfare of St. Martin to the best of my ability. So help me God. YMP Sabea Nanton. YMP Ishmael Cummings. YMP Hadassah Isaac.
I do solemnly swear.
YMP Renella Gomez.
I do solemnly swear.
YMP Kavisha Singh, YMP Diedrich Gums, YMP Lindell Wilson, YMP Ajane Henry, YMP Ilanka Morris, YMP Ashley Phillips, YMP Blessing Sancho, YMP Magnell Napoleon, Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce the Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce the 2025 and 2026 Presidium and Secretary General of St. Martin Youth Parliament, President Sabea Nanton, First Vice President Hadassah Isaac, Second Vice President Renella Gomez, Secretary General Ishmael Cummings, Can the other members please join for a group photo? Thank you. YMPs, you may now return to your seats.
I would like to acknowledge the presence of MP Webster. Thank you for joining us. We will now hear from our youth members of parliament, and they will give their introductory speeches. We will first have YMP Hadassah Isaac. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the heart of every young person lies the potential for greatness. With protocol already established, good afternoon to everyone. Members of Parliament, youth parliamentarians, parents, esteemed guests, and online viewers. It is with great honor that I stand before you today during this inauguration ceremony. As a brief introduction, my name is Hadassah Isaac, a 16-year-old student of St. Martin Academy, currently in the 5th Form Science stream. Beyond academics, I challenge myself as a track athlete, where I've learned discipline, perseverance, and the true value of hard work. I also serve as the head of my school's yearbook committee for the graduating class of 2026, an experience that has allowed me to lead a team, manage deadlines, and bring creative ideas to life. For the past 2 years, I've had the privilege of serving as Treasurer of Youth Parliament, and today I am humbled and honored to take that experience to the next level as the first Vice President of St. Martin's Youth Parliament. When I first joined this organization, I never imagined I would reach this far or be involved in so many impactful programs. One of my most memorable experiences was working with the Department of Youth during the summer, alongside my supervisors, Dr. Lucian York and Ms. Claudia Connor, who are here with us today, as well as other passionate young people. Through that experience, I learned what it truly means to be a youth advocate, and I gained a deeper understanding of youth mainstreaming, the transformative process that ensures equity and justice for young people in development planning. However, youth mainstreaming is only effective when it is put into practice. The two best practices that make it real and meaningful is youth participation and positive youth development. Positive youth development equips us with the skills, confidence, and opportunities to thrive. Strong education, mentorship, safe spaces, access to culture and sports, and pathways to employment and entrepreneurship prepares us not only to succeed individually, but to contribute collectively as leaders shaping our shared future. Meaningful youth participation ensures that we are not invited to the table as decoration, but as decision makers. Our voices must be respected, our perspectives valued, and our contributions reflected in real outcomes. It is not symbolic, it is powerful. It is not consultation for show, but partnership for change. But as we celebrate progress, we must also recognize the challenges many young people face. From mental health struggles and academic pressure to unemployment and social inequality. These issues remind us why youth representation matters so deeply. When young people are heard and supported, they gain not just a voice, but hope and purpose. We, the youth, look forward to working closely with the government to ensure that youth mainstreaming, positive youth development, and meaningful youth participation are not discussed, but practiced. I want to represent young people because I feel a strong connection with them and understand the challenges they face. I aspire to build a career that allows me to work closely with the youth, whether that's as a pediatrician, caring for their health, a criminologist, supporting those who've encountered difficult circumstances, a social worker, guiding them through life obstacles, or a therapist, helping them heal and grow. There are so many ways young people can be supported, and I am passionate about being a part of that support system. Representing youth gives me the opportunity to be their voice, advocate for their needs, and create opportunities for them to thrive. Together, let us continue to inspire, empower, and uplift one another, because when the youth rise, the entire St. Martin rises with us. I thank you, and I give the floor back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, YMP Harasa. We will now hear from YMP Blessing Sancho. You have the floor.
Good afternoon. My name is Blessing Sancho. I'm 18 years old. I'm truly honored to be here today representing the voices of young people. I am from St. Martin. I'm passionate about making sure youth have real opportunities to be seen, heard, and involved in shaping the future of our communities. What motivates me to represent young people is the belief that we are not just leaders of today, but we are leaders of tomorrow. Too often, decisions that directly impact us are made without our input, and I want to help change that. I've seen how capable, creative, and determined young people are when they're given a voice and platform. Representing youth means not just speaking for them, but opening doors so that they can speak for themselves. As St. Martin celebrates 15 years of country status, this moment serves as a reminder that nation building is shared responsibility. The youth of St. Martin plays a vital role in shaping our country's path forward through innovation, service, and leadership. By embracing education, civic engagement, and unity, we can continue strengthening our nation and ensuring that the next 15 years reflect our shared values, resilience, and pride as a people. When I think about my future aspirations, I see myself continuing to work in spaces that focus on youth empowerment, leadership, and policy making. I want to help the bridge gap between young people and decision makers so that the youth involvement becomes something natural and expected in all areas of society. To me, youth mainstreaming means making sure that the perspectives and needs of young people are included in everyday decisions, not just in youth-specific projects or events. It's about ensuring that the areas like education, employment, and governance, youth voices are part of process and our realities are being taken seriously. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I would like to acknowledge the presence of MP Peterson. Thank you for joining us. We will now hear from YMP Kavicha Singh. You have the floor.
Madam Chair, protocol has been established. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kavicha Singh. I am a 16-year-old business student currently in the 5th form at St. Martin Academy. And it's truly an honor to stand here not just as a young person, but someone who cares deeply about the future of St. Martin. So who am I? I am someone who believes in the power of youth. I believe that though we are young, our voices matter, our ideas matter, and our dreams matter. When we are given a chance, we can help shape a stronger, brighter future for our country. What motivates me to represent young people is simple. We are the next generation of leaders, builders, and decision makers. We are already facing big challenges from climate change and education to jobs, also mental health. And we live these issues every day. That's why I feel a strong responsibility to speak up and be part of the solution. But I know I can't do it alone. That's why being a part of the St. Martin Youth Parliament is very important. This is not just a place to talk, but it's a place to act. A place where we can work together, share ideas, and make a real change. Looking ahead, my dream is to keep serving, not just as a voice for young people, but as someone who builds bridges between generations. And I hope to work closely with our parliamentarians and leaders because when youth and government work together, great things can happen. As we mark 15 years of country status, let's take a moment to reflect. We have come a long way, but now more than ever, we must ask, what country do we want to be in the next 15 years? The answer starts with us. Youth voices are not a threat to the tradition. They are a promise for the future. We bring energy, we bring new ideas, we bring hope. So let's not be afraid to speak up. Let's not wait for permission to lead. Let's build a St. Martin where young people are not just seen, but heard, valued, and respected. Thank you. I yield the floor back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, YMP Singh. We will now hear from YMP Ilanka Morris. You have the floor.
Protocol has been established. Good morning, all. My name is Ilanka Morris, and I am 15 years old. I attend St. Dominic High School, and I am in 5th form in the science package. When I joined the Youth Parliament as a prospect in 2022, I was curious about what it was and why such an organization was necessary. After 2 years as member of the Youth Parliament, I now truly understand why this organization is needed. The youth need a voice. They need to have a means of expressing their concerns wherein they can be assured that they will be heard. As members of the Youth Parliament, we must listen to the concerns of our fellow youth and take action on these concerns. As we celebrate the upcoming 15 years of country status, we must remember to allow the voices of our youth of our island to be heard. When youth are involved in discussions of politics and the legislative decisions being made, they offer valuable perspectives to issues in the community. This allows them to be able to play an active role in their future. That is why we must offer more avenues for youth to express their concerns related to the community. So when we listen to the concerns of the youth, St. Martin will strengthen youth empowerment and civil participation. The Youth Parliament has taught me many things. It has allowed me to participate in Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program. Through that program, it taught me communication skills and allowed me to express my ideas clearly and effectively. So that is why I think that St. Martin should really put more emphasis on the youth and their opinions and what they express. I yield the floor to you, Madam President.
Thank you, YMP Morris. We will now hear from YMP Ashley Phillips. You have the floor.
My name is Ashley Phillips and I'm 20. Good day, everyone. My name is Ashley Phillips and I'm 20 years old. And I'm truly honored to be here today representing the voices and the aspiration of young people. I came from a background of very strong woman, and I have always believed that young people are not just leaders of tomorrow, but the change of today's. What motivates me to represent young people is that simple. What motivates me to represent young people is the simple but powerful idea every young person deserves to be heard and included in decisions and shape their future. Too often, young youth are seen as beneficiaries of policies rather than partners in creating teams. Seeing potential creativity and energy of peers inspires me to advocate for spaces where young people meaningfully participate and lead. Looking forward, my aspiration is to continue building bridges between young people and policymakers to ensure that youth perspectives are embedded in every level of decision making. I want to see a society where youth are not just consulted, but co-creators of the solutions that affect them. In closing, I believe that empowering youth is not just about giving opportunities, it's about recognizing their power and potential to drive sustainable change. Together, let's continue to amplify youth voices and turn our ideas into action. Thank you.
Thank you, YMP Phillips. We will now hear from YMP Magnayel Napoleon. You have the floor.
Madam Chair, protocol has been established. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Napoleon Magnel. I'm a 15 years old student at Lycée Robert William. Like many others my age, I care deeply about the future of our country, the place where we'll grow up, build our dreams, and eventually take on the responsibility of shaping the next generation. What drives me to stand for young people is the belief that our voice truly counts. Too often, youth are seen as the future, but not as part of the present. Yet, I've seen firsthand the passion, creativity, and determination that young people bring when given the chance to contribute. We have ideas, bold ones, and their energy to make real change happen. However, it sometimes feels like our opinions aren't taken seriously enough, that our perspective are overlooked. That's something I want to help change. I believe it's time we recognize that young people aren't just the leaders of tomorrow, we are leaders today. Looking ahead, I want to be someone who brings young people together to share ideas, collaborate on projects, and take actions on the issues that affect us most. Whether it's education, mental health, the environment, or social equality, our voice needs to be part of every conversation that shapes the nation we're growing up in. Through my own experiences at school, I've learned that what can happen when young people are trusted and supported. I've been part of projects that made a real difference in our community, projects where we didn't just participate, we led. We learned how to communicate, organize, and make decisions, and those experiences show me that when youth are given the right space and encouragement, we don't just follow, we inspire. Going forward, I love to see more collaboration between young people and the parliamentarians because change works best when all generations work together. Youth bring fresh ideas, leaders bring experience, and when those two forces meet, great things can happen. As we celebrate 15 years of our country's status, it's important to remember this is still the beginning of our story. Our nation is still growing, learning, and fighting its path. And we, the youth, have chance to shape what the next 15 years will look like. The choice we make now and the voice we include in those choices will determine the kind of country we build together. So let's make sure young people are not just watching from the sidelines, but standing at the heart of progress, helping design, build, and protect our shared future. Because our voices matter, our ideas matter, and together, united across generations, we can make our country stronger and more inclusive and more hopeful than ever. Thank you. I give the floor back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, YMP Magnell. We will now hear from YMP Aljane Henry. You have the floor.
Good day, everyone. Protocol has already been established. My name is Aljane Henry, and I am honored to be here today. I am proud to serve as the treasurer of the Youth Parliament. I made history when I joined the Youth Parliament at the young age of 11 while I was just in 5th grade. I attended the Hillside Christian School, and I am now 14 years old in the St. Martin Academy, now in 3rd form. During those 3 years, I learned leadership skills, clear speaking, and creativity, and how to accept opportunities, my favorite of which was meeting the King and the Queen of the Netherlands to speak about problems that the youth face, for example, vaping and youth violence. I stand before you today not just as a title or a student, but as a passionate young person who believes in the power of youth voices. I believe that we as young people have the potential to shape the future, not just tomorrow, but starting today. Education is something I also deeply care about. It's not just about textbooks and tests, it's also about opportunities to grow and express ourselves and to make a difference. That's why I want to represent the youths in the youth parliament, because I know there are many young people who have ideas, dreams, and concerns, but not always the platform to share them, or most importantly, the courage and the bravery to speak about it. Just like how I was in 5th grade when I first joined the youth parliament, I was very scared and nervous to be around all those big children, but now I see like why it's really important, you know. As someone who enjoys speaking, writing poetry, and painting, I know how important it is for young people to have creative outlets and spaces to be heard and seen. Through Youth Parliament, I want to help create those spaces where education is strengthened, creativity is celebrated, and every voice matters. As treasurer, I understand responsibility and I plan to take that role seriously. But beyond numbers and budgets, I bring heart, vision, and dedication. I'm not just here to hold a position, I'm here to take action, to listen to my peers, and to make sure our voices reach decision makers. So why should I represent the youth? Because I am the youth. I walk the same halls, face the same challenges, and dream the same dreams. And I'm ready to work hard to make sure those dreams have a chance to become reality, not only for me, but for my fellow youth. Thank you for listening. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, YMP Aljane Henry. We will now hear from YMP Deadrick Gums. You have the floor.
Sure. Good day, everyone. My name is Deadrick Gums, and today I would like to take a few moments to tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I would like to say this is my first time in the youth parliamentarian thing. So I came here because I wanted to be a voice that the young people could hear and listen to, that they could relate to and speak to me and I could answer them because I'm around their age group. Okay, so things that I like and who I am. I come from a family of 4 and a supportive group of people who mean the world to me. There is my mother, Navina Gums, my father, Derek Gums, my brother, Delrick Gums, and myself. Okay, so a family like mine has shaped me in many ways. We laugh together, we share wonderful memories together, and we communicate with each other very well. Sometimes we don't, so I'm here today to get in this group so I could learn to communicate better with everybody around me and people I know and do not know. So I would describe myself as somebody who enjoys life in my own way. I don't try to be anyone else. I appreciate the small, meaningful moments in my life. Every day brings something new to the table, something I can learn from, and something that I can enjoy and improve on. I try to make the best of every moment that comes, may it be good or bad. One of the things I love most is going places. I enjoy stepping outside and seeing what can be done and what cannot be done. Experiencing the world around me, whether it's going for a walk, visiting a new place, or just being outdoors, I feel a sense of freedom and happiness when I'm out and about. As I said, I also love to adventure. Life, to me, is meant to be explored. Adventures don't always have to be big or far away. Sometimes, even the smallest moments outside can turn into something unforgettable, an unforgettable experience. Every time I step outside, I feel like there's something new waiting to be discovered. When I'm not exploring or spending time outside, I like to play games. Games are a fun way for me to relax and enjoy myself, or even challenge myself also. I also enjoy my free time, but I also make sure to finish any work I have to do. I like to stay on top of my things, even though when it's not exciting. As I look toward the future, I know I want to become more ambitious. I want to set bigger goals for myself and work harder to reach those goals. I'm always trying to become a better version of myself. I want to strive for success in everything I do, whether it's in school, my future career, traveling, or discovering new passions. I hope to build a life that makes me proud, where I can inspire others, make my family proud, and enjoy many adventures that come my way. I believe that anyone can do great things when they keep believing in themselves. Achieve for greatness, everyone. This is It's About Myself.
Thank you, YMP Diadric. We will now hear from YMP Renella Gomez. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, with protocol already being established. Good evening. My name is Renella Gomez, a proud fifth... Good afternoon. My name is Renella Gomez, a proud fifth form student of St. Martin Academy, currently in the business stream. I stand before you as a young person who is deeply passionate about advocacy and empowerment for all youths, regardless of their background, challenges, circumstances, and who they believe for. My motivation is to represent young people stems from my own personal journey. There was a time when I felt unseen or unheard, not because I didn't have thoughts or opinions, but because I was soft-spoken. For a long time, I felt trapped in a box of silence, forced to stay quiet to make others comfortable. That experience shaped me profoundly. It made me realize that no young person should ever feel their voice is too small or their story doesn't matter. Every voice deserves to be heard, loudly, proudly, and unapologetically. It is that realization that drives me to step forward today to represent, to speak, and to advocate, not just for myself, but for young people everywhere who have felt voiceless. Much of my journey has been defined by service. Through my involvement in the St. Martin Academy Key Club, I've been able to turn compassion into action, whether it was organizing beach cleanups, painting classrooms, hosting food drives, and volunteering with the White and Yellow Cross. Each experience taught me something valuable about community, empathy, and the importance of showing up for others. These moments remind me that true leadership is not about titles or positions, it's about service and representation. It's about being the bridge between ideas and actions, between unheard and the decision makers. Recently, I also completed the BOP training program where I learned about youth mainstreaming, youth participation, and the Sustainable Development Goals. I now understand that youth mainstreaming isn't just a phrase, it's a commitment to ensure that young people are part of every conversation that shape our future. It means integrating youth voices into every policy, every project, and every vision for national development. I also believe that our advocacy becomes stronger when it's guided and mentored. That's why I hope to work closely with our parliamentarians, to learn from their experience, to gain insight into leadership, and to be nurtured as a young advocate and aspiring pediatrician. I want to merge my passion for service with my love for science and medicine. In this future, I hope to pursue a career in pediatrics, focusing on children, both young and old, especially those who are differently abled. My goal is not only to heal, but also to advocate for inclusion, accessibility, and equal care for every child. To me, medicine and advocacy are deeply connected. Both require listening, empathy, and the desire to make life better for others. Joining the Youth Parliament is, for me, an extension of the same calling. It is a platform where young people can challenge their stereotypes, influence policy, and shape the kind of country we want to inherit. It's a place where our passion can meet purpose, where our voices can translate into real change. I envision the Youth Parliament that works hand in hand with schools, youth organizations, and government leaders to address the real issues affecting us: mental health, education, climate actions, and opportunity. I want us to become part of the solution-building process, not as spectators, but as partners in progress. Now that I've been given the opportunity to serve as second vice president, I promise to bring energy, integrity, and a deep sense of purpose to the role. I want to be part of a generation that looks back and says, we didn't wait for change to happen, we created it. So tonight, I speak not just for myself, but for every young person on the island who dares to dream, who refuses to be silenced, and who believes that every small voice can make a powerful difference. Together, we are the heartbeat of St. Martin, a generation defined not by its challenges, but by its courage, creativity, and commitment to build a brighter future. I thank you. I yield back the floor to you, Madam President.
Thank you, YMP Renella Gomez. We will now hear from YMP Lindell Wilson. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair Lady, Secretary General, honorable members of Parliament who have joined us, my fellow YMPs, invited guests, and good afternoon, St. Martin. My name is Lindell Wilson, and I am the outgoing Secretary General, outgoing Second Vice President of the St. Martin Youth Parliament. I am 19 years old, and I am honored to now transition into the role of Assistant Secretary General. I aspire to become a future Member of Parliament and eventually Prime Minister of St. Martin. I also aim to represent St. Martin in the Netherlands, in the Tweede Kamer, and eventually serve as State Secretary of Kingdom Relations and Digitalization. My long-term goal is to become the first Afro-Dutch Caribbean man to hold the office of Prime Minister of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Through these roles, I will continue advocating for youth inclusion, comprehensive policy reforms, and initiatives that reflect the needs and ambition of our generation. My vision for the future is rooted in the belief that young people across the kingdom, whether in St. Martin, Aruba, Curaçao, Bonaire, Statia, Saba, and the Netherlands, must be actively involved in shaping the decisions that affect their lives, especially in the areas such as youth policy, education, health, economic resilience, and social development. I believe in aligning our education system more closely with the standards of the Netherlands, while also expanding the potential of our local university and vocational schools to better serve students across St. Martin. On October 3rd, I attended the Strategic Education Alliance Conference, connecting education to the labor market. I have been appointed to represent St. Martin on the Student Council of the Strategic Education Alliance program. This council plays a vital role in shaping the students' experience by providing advice on programs and initiatives that matter to students, gathering student feedback and identifying challenges, contributing to reports and policy plans focused on Caribbean students, and offering insights and feedback on specific topics and new proposals. As the St. Martin representative in the Strategic Education Alliance, I will engage directly with my fellow youths and Kingdom partners to create meaningful change in the area of education, justice, health, finance, and Kingdom relations. And as I take on this role within Youth Parliament, I reflect on my fourth year being a youth parliamentarian, and I remain committed to building bridges between youths and leadership to create spaces where our voices influence real change in all aspects of our community. I also represent the Youth Parliament last week in the autonomous conversations on behalf of the Governor of St. Martin. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, youth members of Parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to address you as the returning president of the St. Martin Youth Parliament. Distinguished guests, parents, and friends, a warm good afternoon to you all. I am Sabaya Nantan, a determined 19-year-old who has successfully completed my associate degree in entrepreneurship at the St. Martin Academy, Cape. Today, I stand before you not just with pride, but with a profound sense of purpose, having been re-elected by my fellow colleagues to lead this esteemed organization for a second term. I wish to thank each and every one of you for your support and cooperation in my first term. It has been an honor to lead and achieve alongside such dedicated young leaders. This past year, we were able to create wonderful partnerships with other youth associations, had insightful discussions on St. Martin's heritage, volunteered at various events in our communities, and that's just to list a few. This overwhelming vote of confidence is more than just an honor. It is a powerful affirmation of our collective vision and commitment to excellence. I am truly excited about the journey ahead and the remarkable achievements we will realize together. Thank you for your continued support. Before you today is a passionate young woman, fueled not just by ambition, but by a profound sense of purpose. I am here because I wholeheartedly believe in the immense power of youth, our innovative ideas, vibrant energy, and potential to drive meaningful change. I firmly believe in the incredible potential of our youth, our boundless energy, our unique ability to drive meaningful change and ideas. My commitment to representing young people stems from my personal journey, filled with challenges, underestimation, and the empowerment that comes from community support and opportunity. I recognize that young voices are frequently marginalized, despite possessing some of the most groundbreaking solutions to the issues we face. This ignites my passion to serve as a crucial link between the voiceless and the decision makers, between dreamers and those who bring those dreams to life. My aspirations are deeply rooted in the pursuit of justice. I aim to become a lawyer, not merely to practice law, but to wield it as a powerful instrument for empowerment. I am dedicated to advocating for individuals who cannot advocate for themselves, championing fairness, equality, and rights at every level. To me, law transcends more than mere regulations. It is about constructing systems that protect individuals and ensure accountability to those in power. So, why do I seek to be the voice of the youth? Because we deserve recognition and respect, not in the future, but right now. I aspire to be the person who listens profoundly and amplifies our collective voice, ensuring that we are truly heard. We are dedicated to every young person striving for a brighter future. Let me share with you what we're actively pursuing for this upcoming year, because we're not just discussing ideas, we're taking genuine action. This Saturday, we are excited to host a transformative event that highlights the voices of our youth in St. Martin as we celebrate 15 years as a country. This celebration will showcase youth perspectives through powerful expressions like poetry, dance, and speeches, allowing their creativity and insights to shine. Additionally, for this month, it marks the preparation for our annual interscholastic youth debate, a vital platform for critical thinking and diverse viewpoints. This isn't merely about debating points, it's about cultivating respectful disagreements, challenging each other's ideas, and fostering collective growth. This year is especially significant as we proudly celebrate the 15th anniversary of our organization. That's a decade and a half of driving impact, empowering youth, and demonstrating leadership. But we're not just looking back, we are gearing up for the next 15 years filled with even greater accomplishments with exciting plans already in motion. A crucial focus area for us is youth mainstreaming. This is ensuring that young voices are at the forefront of decision-making. Together, we can shape a future that truly reflects the ambitions and potential of our youth, and we ask that you join us on this journey. We're also excited to announce the Caribbean Youth Parliament Convention that we are planning, a historic gathering of bright minds, diverse talents, and innovative ideas from young leaders throughout the Caribbean. This is our chance to connect, exchange knowledge, and most crucially, forge a united vision for our future. As time goes on, you will be hearing more about this event. Technology and the perspectives of youth must be prioritized in every decision-making space. As we look ahead, digital advancement will be one of the vital pillars in our strategy. I'm committed to advancing this initiative by promoting comprehensive training in digital skills, empowering youth-driven tech innovations, and ensuring our platforms are not only accessible, but also engaging. Our mission extends just beyond technology. Together, we will confront the pressing challenges that affect our generation, including mental health, substance abuse, violence, and digital safety. Empty promises will not define us. I'm here to lead, to serve, and to embody the aspirations of every young individual who envisions a brighter future. This movement transcends my personal journey. It's about all of us. Together, we are building a powerful movement that goes beyond mere speeches and meetings. It's a catalyst for transformative change in countless lives. In my ongoing commitment to this cause, it is my hope to actively engage with government officials and relevant agencies to forge partnerships that truly benefit our youth. By developing strategic alliances with key stakeholders in critical ministries such as youth, education, digital development, and health, we can advocate for impactful policies, secure essential funding, and initiate collaborative programs that directly support our initiatives. Whether through formal discussions, advisory committees, or cooperative efforts, we are dedicated to amplifying the voices of young people in national development strategies, ensuring our organization is recognized as a trusted collaborator in crafting a brighter future for the generations to come. Let us be the generation that takes bold steps towards change rather than waiting for it to happen. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the inauguration ceremony of the 2025-2026 St. Martin Youth Parliament. I would like to thank the President of Parliament, Mrs. Sarah Westcott Williams, Griffier Garrick Richardson, and the staff of Parliament for permitting us to hold our inauguration ceremony here today. Thank you to the media for your coverage of this meeting, and a special thanks to our parents, friends, and other special guests for joining us today. Congratulations, youth members of Parliament, and I look forward to a challenging yet productive year ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation. I hereby close this meeting.